It's time for the Other Three Amigos podcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
On this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast, we ask if protests should occur off the back of the bank holiday madness. Is Robson just John Caulfield with a Scottish accent? Wayne joins us to talk about Liam Kearney as the new DOF, and Gok Wayne joins us to talk about the new City Pride shirt, pride of which that was missing in both the Cove and Kerry games. We have the most obvious SB of the week of all time, and absolutely everybody catches strays in the mailbag. All of this and more on this week's episode of the Other Three Amigos podcast.
In 2026,
the little team in
Bishopstown
now needed some players to try and keep up with their bigger local rivals. The manager promptly looked for
Cove Ramblers
leftovers to impress the fans. Today,
Cork City
still aren't impressive and have spent a fortune. And if you have a player and no one will take him and he is off First Division standard, maybe he can join the B team.
We'll get into it. Season 6, Episode 15, Episode 340 in total of your multi-award winning pod. Throw us a 5-star rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Dan Casey here, and I'm joined by my other three amigos. They are Declan Carey, Dominic Heffernan, and of course, Declan McCormack. Why not join us on Patreon? Patreon.com/ToeTap. €5 a month to join us over there. We're also delighted to have NordVPN as sponsors of the pod. Sign up now for 4 bonus months at nordvpn.com/ToeTap. It's helping out the pod, and you're getting something back, including your 30-day money back guarantee. Dom, you were first to take yourself off mute, I believe. Did you have something to say?
I didn't even notice that, no. Hello, Dan. How are you?
Why are you dressed like a Jehovah's Witness, Dom?
I was out on the streets being a Jehovah's Witness trying to get people to buy my Watchtower magazine.
It'd be an easier sell than going to Cork City match at the moment, I'd say.
I don't know, lads, €1 tickets, like, fucking hell, free into matches. Probably a lot more of that coming out, like, but...
Alright, Declan Carey, how are you? What's the crack with yourself?
Oh, God, all good, Dan, all good, yeah, just, you know, miserable weekend, good bank holiday weekend with the family overall, but miserable from a footballing perspective, which I'm sure we'll get into, and I'm sure the millions and millions of ToeTap fans are eager to hear our thoughts and opinions on it. But,
no Dylan McGlade talk for the night, alright? Just no.
You brought it up, no, not me. We'll get to that later, Dan. We'll get to that later.
And lastly, Declan McCormack, how are you? Your beautiful intro there, your dulcet tones in the ToeTappers' ears.
Well, listen, if you're going to give it, you have to take it. I presume the Cove boys have been lining up. Kerry have already done us there about half an hour ago with their jersey tweet, you know. So, not done us, but have done Cork City, you know. So listen, we'll always recognise our failures, and the B team one came back to bite us in the bollocks, and there's only one B team in Cork at the moment, and it isn't Cove Ramblers. So, you know, we'll acknowledge that and deal with the consequences. But like, Dan, it's a bank holiday Tuesday, you know, after a nice weekend. I was at 3 Cork City games over the weekend, 3 senior games, 2 men's games and a women's game. And if you told me Thursday night that the best performance I was going to see was the women losing 3-0 against Shelburne, I'd have been fucking, you know, said no way. But yeah, here we are. That was the best performance of the weekend. Those girls play for pride. They play for heart. They play for the jersey. That's all they play for. Are the lads playing for? Because they're not playing for pride. They're not playing for heart. They're not playing for the jersey. They're not playing for the fan base. So what are they playing for at the moment? So we'll have a discussion on it and find out later on.
Alright, it is now time for Academy Watch. The under-20 team, they beat Cove 4-0, so we can celebrate that one. Under-17s, they beat Treaty 4-2. Under-15s, they beat Cove 2-0. And our under-14 team, they beat Treaty 4-0. I suppose, Dom, all in all, like, it's really, 6-1 to Cork City against Cove. So not a bad weekend.
Yeah, do you know, when you add it all together, great weekend. So take that, B team.
Alright, there's no time for a Commie Watch.
Commie Watch with Ivan Draco on the Other Three Amigos podcast.
I was thinking before we came on, what could I say to get the lads going? Decky, should there be a protest at this Friday's 6-point swinger against UCD?
Oh, is that Commie Watch or that's part of the UCD preview in the hour's time?
No, it's all the one this week.
There was me thinking he was going to start with the Pride jersey, but anyway.
Should there be a protest? Listen, protest probably should have never stopped in hindsight, to be honest, you know. Best time to protest is when you're on top, when things are going well, because the message means more. No, you've lost 2 games and they're not top of the table, and Cork City fans are moaning again and they're protesting against Usher again. The feeling never changed, the sentiment never changed, just protest stopped. Will they start again? I don't know. Should they start again? 100%, in my opinion.
Tom, what do you think? Will there be tractors driving from Castletown outside the gates of Bishopstown?
Yeah, tractor run from Bishopstown to Turner's Cross on Friday. No, but definitely people have a reason to want to protest. Like, nobody can say whether there are still people who support Dermot Usher or not. That's one thing, but is there enough of a reason for people to be justified in wanting a change? Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with Decky. The protest should have never stopped.
Lastly, Kerry.
Yeah, I think there should be something on Friday. Then the fact that we're second in this division is just an absolute shambles. Well into the second series of games, like just unthinkable, really. At the start of the season, and yeah, I'm sure the look doesn't have to be anything spectacular like it was for the Pats Cup semi-final, where, you know, there was kickoff delayed and that kind of thing. Because look, the games are not on a TV station anyway; they're on LOI TV. You know, so
and
look,
Alan Cawley won't be there to tell us we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know, you're not going to get the national attention to it, but like, I think just send a message in the ground. I'm sure the lads can bang out a few banners relatively quickly, and you know, maybe a few jacks rolls thrown onto the pitch. Maybe, I don't know. Not that I would condone that type of thing, but look, I wouldn't say something as harsh as the Pats game, but there should definitely be something, I feel, anyway. Yeah.
We've seen a few one-off banners in the shed last season, like the End Kildare rule and the Nero fiddled while Rome burned one. It's a shame for them to be used once and never seen again. So why not bring them out?
Bring them all out,
have them every week. Put them along Derrynane Road so that they can't be missed on the LOI TV cameras and everything. It's a shame to let them rot.
Yeah, I was going to say that, Tom, but I didn't know. Like, it's probably a good thing to have like a fresher message that, you know, might get photos taken of saying, oh, that's another little catchy banner, but maybe just bring back all the different banners. Have 3 or 4 of them.
What's the mood in the camp of the Bishopstown bloodline?
Yeah, hearing some whispers then this morning, and yeah, things are not positive, obviously. We've come off 2 historic defeats over the weekend. Like, I think, did we say, lads, and is the general consensus the first time we've ever lost at home in the league to Cove? And obviously Kerry's first ever win over us as well in a competitive fixture, I think.
It's the first time Cove won a league game in Turner's Cross, and they played 2 league games there 2 seasons ago, and they didn't win either of those either, you know.
Yeah. So, you know, they were home games for Cove that time, Dick, was it? When and Kerry then getting their first win ever against us, the newest club in the fucking
kept
country.
Colin Healy in a job.
Yeah, look, which is, I suppose, there's a silver lining to it. Like, Colin, you know, he's one of our own, and nice to see him still in the job, but not at the detriment of us, you know, missing out on 3 points or whatever. But look, best of luck to Colin for the rest of the season. But yeah, just, you know, things aren't great in Bishopstown at the moment, and
are we getting closer to him, you know, shagging off?
Absolutely.
I don't think so, no. I know I keep flip-flopping on it, but I think the Kearney appointment again, which I presume is something I'm going to talk about in a minute, I think that's an indication that he's bedding in. He's not going anywhere.
I think though, Dick, just as I was answering the question, are we getting closer to him leaving? I think so. With every defeat, I think you get closer to him leaving. But that's what I was going to say. Yeah, we're getting closer, but I don't think it's anything imminent. If we lose Friday night at home to UCD, well.
But sure, we've been through all this before. We've thought, this is it now. This defeat will tips over the edge, and then,
Look, football is a results business, and I completely agree with what you're saying, Dick. There's obviously you would hope, and we'll get to it in a sec with the Kearney appointment to director of football, that there's a strategy and there's this and there's that, and but then you go out to the cross in front of 3,000 people or whatever and lose, and we've lost 3 on the bounce, and things change. The first team managers, it happens all over the world. Run of bad results, and we're coming into the summer transfer window. You've got an owner there who might be thinking, do I trust this guy with bringing in his own crew of players? Is he capable? You get all these doubts and all these questions. The owner himself might be thinking, is now the time I leave, because I've chopped and changed managers now so often at record levels again that, is now the time for me to leave instead. And will I leave Robson there and I go and try and bring in one of these maybe tire kickers or potential investors that we've heard about in the last couple of months? Who knows? But there's if we lose Friday night, I do feel we're looking at 955 live territory.
Dom, do you think we've given Robson too much grace over this time period?
I don't think it would be fair to say we've given him too much grace, because the fact that up until this weekend he was unbeaten. But I think we are probably on course for having one of the worst first division squads and seasons that we've had, other than, of course, 2021 probably. But 2021 we had 30% wins in that season. 2022 we had 62.5% wins. 2024 we had 61% wins. Currently we're at 60%, and we've only just hit our bad run of form now. We were getting lucky all along up until the last couple of weeks. We've hit a bad run of form now, so it could go way down from there. We've lost 2 games in one weekend. As bad as the 2024 season was, we only lost 2 games in that whole season. So it's hard to, there was a lot of criticism from some people like myself about the style of football, but you had that thing of, well, he hasn't lost a match, so you have to give him time. It's dangerous territory for him now.
But Dickie, we didn't even get to hear from after the Kerry results, because he didn't clearly do an interview. Or you were down there. What was the mood after the game?
I think it was just there was the younger section of the support were chanting, "You're not fit to wear the shirt" at the players. I've no issue with that. I think that's fine. I think the vast majority of people, it was just complete another disappointment. For me personally, it was sadness. It was this is what we've come to. And this weekend is, I am in no doubt, the worst footballing weekend since the foundation of the club in 1984. We lost at home in Turner's Cross against Cove Ramblers. First time, as we've already said, that Ramblers have ever won a league game in Turner's Cross. We go down to Kerry and we lose in Kerry. And you're going, what the fuck's going on here? And, it's not a culmination of this week or this week's training or this player being out, Greg Bulger being out, or Cian Murphy being injured Friday night. It's a culmination of 3 years or 3.5 years of mismanagement from the top down. It's the carousel of players, conveyor belt of players that have come through the place, the conveyor belt of managers, the conveyor belt of support staff that have been and gone. the shit transfer windows, the terrible, terrible recruitment, the transfer committee, the fucking bullshit apps that we were blowing our hole about at one stage. Like, all this nonsense leads to this weekend. And we were probably blinded. It was probably always coming. But nobody could ever have seen this weekend coming. The 2 firsts in 3 days. Dick said earlier we're after losing 3 on the trot. Just to be statistically correct, we haven't. But we should have. Conor Drynan banged one in from 40 yards into the top corner in Bray. That's the only thing that stopped us.
I meant Dick, if we lose to UCD.
Yeah, sorry. They'd be giving out, so I'm just correcting it.
But only, you're spot on. Nail on
only
the
for
head.
Conor Drynan banging one in for 40 yards above in Bray. We would be after losing 3. Now look at Bray's results around it. The 4 games before they played us, they picked up 1 point in 4 games. They had 1 draw in 4 games against Athlone, Wexford, Longford, and who else? I can't think of the 4. But anyway, they're first division team, so it wouldn't be anybody good. Then they played us. And every match report, every fucking person who was at the game says, Jesus, they should have battered Cork City. You know, Cork City were haunted to get out alive. And everybody sees that except our manager, who moans about the fucking size of the pitch in Bray. About the width of the pitch. Like, it's just nonsense talk. You know? We got away with it against Treaty, first night of the season. We got away with it against Longford. Got away with it against Athlone. Got away with it in Bray. I'm forgetting loads of other times where we got away with it. Went down to Cove, went 1-0 up, and we're fucking battered for the next hour. And lucky to get out with a point down there. And everything is built to this, as I said. And it's as I said, it's 3.5 years building to this point. And it's just, it's in no way near good enough. And the biggest issue, and I know now we're on Commie Watcher, we're just fucking good, but they're all linked, you know? The biggest thing in Kerry yesterday was the lack of a reaction to Friday night. Do you know? We lost at home to Cove. Surely the embarrassment of that. Surely the realisation of the fucking Cork is claret and blue bullshit that was around. Which, listen, Cove fans are 100% entitled to do. They deserve to win that game, in my opinion. Right? Because once again, we didn't take our chances, and Cove set up with a system to counteract us and fucking pick us off. They only needed to score 1. And we just then went, let's just kick the fucking ball into the air as high and as long as we can and hope it bounces in off somebody's arse. That was plan B. Plan B in Kerry yesterday? Pretty much the same thing. Let's put Fiacre Kelleher up front for the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This isn't changing the game managerial stuff. This is just nonsense you see in fucking AUL 3A, Do you know what I mean?
And he limping off then at full time,
Roar to centre back. Go up for the last 10 minutes. Go up for the last 10 minutes. You know? And we should have been moving Cove, getting the ball wide. Matt Murray had to beat it at full back from the time he came on. Matt Murray didn't touch the ball once in the last 15 minutes because every time it came from Conor Brand to either the full backs or the centre back, it was just fucking hoofed into the air. It's the same in Kerry. They went down, the referee gave us a present by sending Bargery off with 15 minutes left. We did fucking nothing with it. Absolutely nothing with it. Conor didn't have a save to make. Do you know? And it's pointless garbage. It's absolute garbage. And Shawnee's getting deeper and deeper and going back into midfield more and more often to try and involve himself in the game. Keats can't kick a ball straight. Whatever's gone on with the lad, I don't know. Hansen Pongo scored a couple of goals and decides he doesn't have to work anymore. He doesn't have to run up and down. He doesn't have to fucking do anything. He just stroll around. The manager in a press conference 2 weeks says, Hans can play wing back. No, he fucking can't.
He said himself it was his preferred position.
Yeah, this is nonsense stuff, Hans and Pongo's a fucking striker. Either play him up front or don't play him at all. Stop trying to put square pegs into round holes. You have 3 players, Shawnee, Keats and Hans. You can only play 2. Stop with the bullshit. Stop with the excuses. This is the fucking biggest and best football club in the land. Nobody will ever change my mind on it. Oh, Shamrock Rovers. They had 4,400 people against fucking Drogheda yesterday. They had less than that against Waterford on Friday night. Our attendance against Cove on Friday night was the biggest attendance in either of the 2 divisions this weekend. The potential here is massive. And yet again, we're just talking about this bullshit. Like, have some fucking pride, as I said earlier on. The girls lost 3-0 at home to Cove. I'd take any one of the girls who played, lost 3-0 at home to Shells. I'd take any one of those players any day of the week. They get fuck all, except disrespect. But they know what it means to play for a jersey. They know what it means to play for a shirt. Liam Kearney was their manager. He never stopped up and down the line, shouting and roaring, encouraging them, making changes, bringing on youth, younger players again, giving them their chance. What do you want to see a fucking manager do? In the first, they're not first division, but compare it to the other lad. He's buried the young players. This is another massive issue. He has buried the young players. We came into this season as a fan base believing that we were going to see youth players developed. We were going to see Brodie Lee and get an idea of whether he was good enough to go Premier Division with us next year or not. We were going to see Matt Murray become a standout first division player. We were going to see Matt Kiernan turn into the full back that we all believed he could be, or at least be given the opportunity to. He's killing them all. None of them have got minutes. He keeps going back to fucking AJ Bridge. And then Niall O'Keefe started yesterday. No, Niall did nothing wrong. I thought he had quite a good game. But how do you drop him in when he's played 13 minutes in total in the previous 13 games? You drop him into the centre of midfield. Then you take Harry Nevin off and you put Niall O'Keefe into right back. I personally thought Harry Nevin was one of the couple of players who was actually doing okay. But what it does, and Dom will tell you this, you have a natural right back in Harry Nevin. They weren't down to 10 at that stage. But the second he took off Harry Nevin, Niall O'Keefe did not cross the half. He didn't overlap outside once. So you take away the attacking full back in a game in which we're 1-0 down. And you stick a defensive central midfielder into that right back position. And it completely nullified it. Kerry didn't have to worry about it. It did not have to worry about an overlapping full back. And when they were down to 10, that helps them a lot. Because they know it's not coming down that side, because that's not Niall O'Keefe's game. And I just don't understand that substitution. In a game where you're 1-0 down, it's okay, he hasn't played all season. He's probably going to take him off. Niall's done well. Fair play to him. He's put his hand up. He'll be involved going forward. No, we'll take off Harry Nevin and we'll drop him in right back. And it's these kind of decisions that you just go what's going on here? And then we don't hear from him afterwards. How am I still going? How long is this? How the fuck this is Commie watch? I don't know. But
we don't hear up, Dickie.
We don't hear
from him.
It's not.
Was the question,
It's not. His time's not up. But we need to see better. We have to see better. And then the club don't do anything with him afterwards. When the fan base is crying out, two different people stopped me walking out of Montauk Park yesterday. Said, is there a live show on the way home? Is there a live phone in, is there something happening after the game? I was I don't think so. But the club nullify him by not doing an interview and putting it out. Because what needs to happen there is Barry Robson needs to come out and say, this was not good enough. What we saw here tonight was not good enough. It's not representative of Cork City Football Club. It's not representative of those players' normal carry-on. It's not representative of the fan base. I'm not willing to accept it. And unless these players book themselves up, they can all fuck off in July and I'll bring in players who, God forbid me, want to be here. Right? And they don't. And they think they're being clever and, we'll stay quiet and we'll box it off and we'll say nothing and everybody will have forgotten about it by the time we do the next press conference next Thursday, and nobody in that press conference will ask a tough question anyway. the fan base needs to hear. There are times, I know they pay big money for PR advice, but I'm saying for 3 years, that PR advice is fucking horrendous when it comes to sport. Yesterday was a time to put Barry Robson in front of a microphone. And if he didn't want to say it, you tell him, this is what you need to say. This is what the fan base needs to hear from you now. Because they're fucking raging. You just saw the players get you're not fit to wear the shirt. Well, you turned your back and walked away. Don't fucking forget that either.
He
turned his back and walked away. Do you know?
From the halfway line, gave a quick clap and
gone.
Ran away.
And gone.
Yeah.
Do you know? Not on either.
Stand there. Be here for long players.
Stand there. And this is the problem with the youth stuff, Dan, and this is where it's going to get. A guy who's here long term and sees himself here wants to know what he has. And he spends more time developing youth and bringing youth into it. Scotty's been convinced that he's not going to be here beyond next season. I always wonder, but when I sit back and I look at it, and especially around the youth aspect of it, go, he's here for now. He's here to win now, and he has no inclination to think about the future. Your Matt Murray's, your Brodie Lee's, your Matt Kiernan's. Cian Murphy's fallen into his lap. You have to play Cian Murphy. Everything else needs development, needs minutes, needs to be helped. He's not doing that. He's buried them. Absolutely buried them. And that to me is the biggest indication that he's not here for the long term. He's here to get a league victory on his CV and head for the hills. And listen, that's fine too. No issues with it. But what we saw this weekend was it's disgraceful, and I have no problem saying it. It's absolutely disgraceful. And Barry Robson gets it, the club get it. I could do 20 minutes on the players. But as I said...
We'll get to it. We'll move it on this one. Dom, you want to say something quick?
Just on a couple of things Decky said. Like, he was talking about all the games that we got away with it. I said last week in the podcast that if you're expected to win by whatever amount, you give or take a goal for either team. So, like I said, if you're expected to win 4-0 each week, don't be surprised if you only win 3-1. If you're expected to win 1-0 each week, which we are probably expected to win by that much, don't be surprised if we lose 1-0 either. So we're leaving the margins too fine. We're not good enough to blow teams out of the water, which means we're just about better than these shitty first division teams. So these kind of results are coming.
Decky mentioned there about looking forward to the future, and I guess one point that the club certainly are in was the director of football role that Liam Kearney has been appointed. Kerry, I'll go to you first on this one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, long overdue, Dan. I would say, I would say Kearney was probably the obvious choice for director of football when Dermot took over, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. Maybe Liam himself was personally just happier to be in the academy. I know he'd been in and around the first team a little bit and stuff like that. But overall, you'd have to imagine and say it's a very, very positive move. I've great time for Liam myself. I'm extremely biased in that regard and never had a bad moment ever chatting to him or working with him over the
is this going to piss him off and drive him away from the club? I think that was the fear that we on the pod were saying, just stick with the academy stuff.
Yeah.
If you're chatting to a certain someone in that club, you're probably going to have a bad interaction at some point, and it's going to piss him off, and he's going to shag off himself.
And this is it. Like, the thing we've always said about Liam was, try and keep him away from first team activities, because the first team is such a basket case that, eventually the finger will be pointed at Liam. And that might not happen this year or next year or the year after. But, that's my worry with those types of roles when you've got a very strong personality involved in the club and you promote them up into a highly visible position. And I think it just means, unfortunately, Liam now can never go back as the head of academy. His next step, unfortunately, is maybe first team manager of the men's team, or he leaves the club. That's Liam's next path in the club. Whereas, was he even happy to stay as head of academy, forevermore? Who knows? I hope I'm making a little bit of sense here, but that's unfortunately now Liam's next two steps. Hopefully a long, successful career as director of football, but that unfortunately, I think with director of football roles, from what we even see across the water and stuff like that, they usually only end one way. And unfortunately, you're at the mercy of first team results again, I feel a little bit.
Wayne, you like fucking shy there trying to get attention. Who's blown into the mic? But Wayne Mullins,
He
are
joins
here.
there an hour late, like, and
I'd say that's Kerry and he's on mic. Well, Wayne, what's the crack?
I'm only here I'm just back, so I'm only here to hear. I'm very surprised you're very calm.
you missed
you missed
an hour late. You're an hour late. We finished a whole 20-minute conversation about protests and everything.
That's fine. I just wanted to pop in for 10 minutes just to make sure that you're ensuring you're saying that club are an absolute disgrace on and off the pitch. Just making sure that's all.
Wayne, are the players acting like pricks?
Yes. And you know what? It's only taken 3 years and I've been vindicated. I'm very happy.
I think you were vindicated long before.
You were vindicated that time. You were vindicated when the owner came out and said, and was it on his own pod somewhere, where he said, I wasn't aware of what was happening. That's when you were vindicated.
The thing is, that's when you were vindicated. I didn't call her pricks. They were acting like pricks. Are they pricks now?
No, I don't think that's fair.
Are we? Okay.
That's my opinion. I don't blame the players for their effort or anything like that.
Stop. Stop. I was at fucking Kerry yesterday. Don't fucking tell me they tried. I was very calm. No, I was very calm. But do not tell me that they went out there and they, as I said already, where was the reaction to the Cove game on Friday night? They went out there and they pounced around. Like it looks like there's an arrogance there that after the first round of games, it's just come down to the fact is we're Cork City, we're better than everybody else. We can just show up here and sure, if we play shit, we'll win the game anyway. And all of a sudden, played shit against Cove and you lost. You played shit against Kerry and you lost. So it's time for a complete mindset change, a complete resetting of players' mindsets. Like, as I said, manager hasn't been great, but do not tell me that those fucking players have no responsibility or nothing to do with what's gone on in the last 2 games, because the vast majority of it rests on their shoulders.
I've been hosting for a good while and I still can't wind them up as well as Wayne can. After, like, it is incredible, really. Wayne, what you're on mute there. What do you think of Kearney's appointment? That's what we were talking about there before you have to head off again.
Like, it's great news, but then this shit show happened. And as Declan says there, his next step is out of the club, like, which is quite sad. I said last week I wanted to keep him around where he is because we couldn't lose him. Like, what happens in 6 months? He gets annoyed. He doesn't get the promises he's been promised. Do you know what I mean? And this is the problem I'm having, is the whole club from top. This is rock bottom now, lads. Maybe UCD Friday could be even worse. So I'm surprised you're all calm because I've been livid for the last 2 or 3 days. And this is why I came back from training and I haven't even eaten yet. I had to come on here and go, just make sure you're keeping it going because it's not acceptable for this club to be allowed to get away with this.
What are you training? High rocks?
Soccer.
No,
I'm really serious. Like, this is not acceptable. What happened this weekend?
It's not acceptable.
It acceptable.
No. It's not acceptable.
Those players put an effort. No, they did not. It was, you know, it was like the players went on Harry Ramsden's fish and chips and a piss up the night before. That's what it was.
Almost
like
they went into
Spain in 1993, right? It was like 93. Ireland, Spain, a belly full of fish and chips, buckets of fucking Guinness, and on the pitch, it was just they didn't even know each other. It was just one of the worst performances I've ever seen. You know, I back Robson, I do, but Jesus Christ, he needs to sort that shit out. Like,
is the Barry Boner like on a full flop?
The only reason it's there is because I can't go through another change of manager again for the 74th time since Usher's taken over. I'm sick of it. I'm not even going to blame Usher this week because he can see what's going on. He can do nothing about it. July, he could do. If I'm telling you, lads, if the 30, how many days in July? 31, 31, 30, 31, 30 days, 31. If by 31st of July, there's no one decent there, I swear to God, I'm going to lose my absolute rag. I don't care if I'm ever stepping that ground again. I will lose my absolute rag because this has gone on long enough, and I'm just livid. With 37 years of supporting this football club.
Is the worry now window, like, right? You talk about transfer window there. That maybe a month ago we were all saying, "Oh, this summer window now was all about bringing in players to get us ready for the Premier and Premier Division quality players, sign pre-contracts with players in the Premier." For next season, is to worry now that we could be signing players just to try and win the first division. We're fucking
Suck it up.
second.
Tough shit.
We're second.
We put ourselves in this position. Sort it out.
But is that the worry then that the club say, geez, we have to prioritise even just getting out of the division and
The
maybe
ship is
bring in a
sinking,
bunch
right?
of players on 18-month contracts that
This
are first
ship is
division
sinking.
quality?
You throw the old lads out, you throw all the people who aren't needed out, and you get the ship, the people who you need on the ship to get it back up again. That's what it's about. I'm sorry, no, I don't want to go over this. If you've been over this already, I don't want to be doubling up. But seriously, I had to come on and just say, I'm so annoyed at this shit. Like,
I think in terms
just
of
on what Wayne
scheduling,
was
this
saying-
is going to be a car crash pod anyway. Like, but anyway,
Just on what Wayne was saying about given like Usher can't do anything about it now, that he can only do something about it in the window. I said the same thing last year when we were leading up to the transfer window in June when we were making a couple of signings for July. There was a few protests. I was saying it's a bit early yet. Give him a chance in the window. He blew it then. There's no reason to believe he won't blow it again. He blew it.
last chance saloon. This is the last chance saloon.
I
It really is
think
the last chance saloon.
saloon was
Lads, you keep
last
saying that.
year.
We keep saying
No,
that. Like,
this is absolutely it. Like, there's people now I know just not even bother going anymore. The forum, there's 20 people replying on the forum. Sorry,
Decky's looking very casual here
I
now.
should
He
go
just
with
raised the
the
old
silence.
finger.
But like there's Scotty said it there. Like I sent G messages on Saturday morning after the Cove game Friday night. This is rock bottom. It can get no worse than no. So my mindset then was changed. It was like, okay, this is the lowest we can get, even though we're still top of the division. So everything from here on has to be better. Never in my life did I think I'd go to Mount Hawk Park yesterday and lose that game. But it doesn't change a whole lot. It's still rock bottom. This is as bad. And people can say, we can finish third and that'll be worse. Lads, in 3 days, we lost the home game to Cove for the first time ever. And we lost to fucking Kerry for the first time ever. That is rock bottom. It ain't getting worse than that. The worst 3 footballing days in the club's history. No getting away from it. Right? So now we look to the future. Kearney's in. Like, you're talking about Usher in the window. It's Kearney's window now, surely be to Christ. Do you know? It's just a
If he
matter
doesn't
of...
have the money, it's not, though. It's just another person to put
Well,
on that list
but
of blame on a clothesline.
and this is it. And this is the point I'm going to make. The Liam Kearney appointment is double-barreled. Firstly, Liam has, without doubt, the most difficult job probably in League of Ireland history, in my opinion. Or one of them, from a footballing point of view. Right? We are rock bottom. Our name is muck. And you would hope that where people wouldn't have answered the phone to a transfer committee or to Dermot Usher, they will definitely answer the phone to Liam. So then you hope that he can have more conversations than somebody else could have had. But my fear is that the answer will still be, not this time, Liam. Give me a shout next summer or give me a shout next year and we'll see how you go this year. And the other side of the job is he is unsackable, and if he walks, or if he was sacked, or anything else, it would all fall on Dermot Usher, as far as the fan base are concerned. None of us know whether Liam, we all suspect that he is capable of doing the job. We all suspect that he'll do the job well. But none of us know that because it's his first gig. It's not like he's done it at 2 other clubs and been very successful there. So we're taking a lot on, he's Liam Kearney, he loves it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're taking a lot on just because we want it to work. But if it doesn't work, the fan base are going to blame Dermot Usher. If it does work, they're going to credit Liam Kearney. If Kearney walks out, the fan base are going to blame Dermot Usher and sympathise with Liam Kearney. If Liam Kearney gets sacked, the fan base are going to blame Dermot Usher and sympathise with Liam Kearney. This is a no-lose situation for Liam, from what I can see, and a no-win situation for Dermot. Because if Liam turns it round, the story is going to be Liam Kearney did some job there because in spite of Dermot Usher, he managed to turn it around. If he doesn't turn it round, it's going to be Kearney never had a shot, sure, Usher fucked him over, would never give him a penny, and he had to walk away. So it might be the most difficult job in League of Ireland for Liam, but it's also a great job in the fact that you can kind of do what you want, knowing the fan base are going to always have your side. Or initially, for the first 2 or 3 years, are going to have your side anyway, and we'll see what happens then. Perfect scenario for Liam. No, he has to grab it and somehow try and fucking turn it into something.
Right. Anyone add that on
Might
on
just
Liam
worry
Kearney?
with that role, Deck, is like that eventually, you know, there's the... Look, let's be honest, a large majority of people that go to the Turner's Cross don't know the ins and outs of all this
Of
and
course.
the challenges Liam has and whatever, and then eventually it'll just be like, didn't I hear on Red FM the other day, that fella Liam Kearney that played with the club 20 years ago as director of football now. So what's he at? And then, do you know, he just gets unfairly treated. Look, I'm just being the ultimate pessimist because, as you said, it is the worst weekend in the club's history from a footballing perspective. And like, it's just, it's just unfortunate that the news came and then we follow it with those two results and all that.
That's huge because this podcast should have been Sunshine, Lollipops and Rainbows on the back of Liam Kearney's appointment. Something that like we were calling for fucking 2 years ago. And if they paid Simon Grayson to come in and tell him give Liam Kearney the director of football job, they could have saved themselves a packet and just fucking listened to pods from fucking 2 years ago when we were blue in the face from saying give it to Liam Kearney, you know?
And are we going to get a new head of academy now? And
yes,
you know,
and that's the other thing.
And then
moving Liam now to the director of football role, and this is cynical now, right? I'll be the first to admit this is cynical. But there is the grant available now for an academy director. We would have been paying Liam's wages, and his position wouldn't have been eligible for that grant because he was there previously and we're paying the wages. We can move him to the director of football role, appoint somebody as a new head of academy, and draw down that grant for that. So we create an extra position within the club, which is needed. We get a director of football, we get a new head of academy. It's not costing us a whole packet because we can now draw down the grant for the director of football. As I said, that's pretty fucking cynical out of me now, and I'm the first to admit it. But I think it's also true.
The worry I have, Deck, is like, look, you've had Liam there and he's been such a strong mentor and guide for the younger players. You listed them out there a while ago, the Matt Murrays, Kearney, you know, Killian Murphy, Carl O'Sullivan before him, all these young lads who you say now are potentially being stifled. Look, it could go one of two ways. Liam might have a bit more influence and create a correct pathway to guarantee the minutes, or like, now there's the worry, like, is Liam now from stepping away from being head of academy?
Interfering?
No, I won't say interfering, but there's obviously going to be a new person coming now, and, you know, look, but at least Liam has governance over all of that. No, you would imagine, won't it? Like the head of academy and the men's first team manager sort of report up to him now. And then there's lads, are we going to get to the Simon Grace and stuff? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, first on the head of academy thing. So in order to get that grant, there's only a certain pool of people that you can appoint.
Yeah.
There's no names stand out. You're like, oh, that's a great help. Now, we don't know. They've done their badges clearly. They've done their courses. They must be qualified. But we don't know based on their experience. And I always say experience is much more important than qualification. But we don't know whether they're any good. Their names don't jump out as somebody who'd be good. Could be wrong. But there's other people who you'd probably think would be good names to throw in there. But we wouldn't be eligible for the grant then. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Also, who's doing that role now while there's nobody there? Who is overseeing it? I presume Liam Kearney is double jobbing.
Probably, yeah.
Shocking.
And triple jobbing, no, because he's managing the women's team temporarily as well.
Well, the double jobbing is the women's team, the academy. Oh, sorry, it's triple jobbing. Director of football, women's team, academy. He could be quadruple jobbing next fucking Sunday if we lose UCD on Friday.
And if, as I said, Dick there, if he's in charge of recruitment for the summer, that's only like, 7 weeks away. Like, he'd want to be getting the ball rolling.
Do you know?
Sure,
we need people in from the 1st of July. And look, it's just... I'll say this, lads, first hand, he was the hardest working guy in Bishopstown when I was there, without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm just that triple jobbing thing worried because he'll try to the utmost of his ability, and he's a great guy and a great, puts his all into everything. And that's another worry. Like, how long more will this triple jobbing drag on? Football, lads, like. How long before we get someone in now to lead the academy? I saw an advertisement on LinkedIn for the women's first team manager's job. Like, how long is this going to continue? Like,
I tell you now, he's going to be doing the women's job quite a while.
Oh God! See, there you go, like that, and that's fairly high workload job. You've got evening training. You've got games on a Saturday afternoon. Come on, like.
All right. Are we happy enough to leave the Kearney stuff here?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Best of luck to him in the job, Cairns.
100%.
Yeah, we're behind him all the way.
Big best of luck from Totap to Jade Numa. He was selected today for the Irish team headed to Spain on their training camp.
Another one for Liam's feather in his cap there.
The new jersey, Decky, that was released during the week. I think there's $5,000 going to an LGBT community organisation in Cork. What do you make of it?
Listen, the cause and the pride jersey and all that, brilliant, fantastic. Can't say enough about it. Personally, I'm not mad about the jersey, but then people have said to me, when you see it in person, it's one of those. It doesn't look great in the photographs, but when you see it in person, it's much better. So look, I'm happy enough to take that on board as well. Listen, we're a community club. We're a local club. We're doing something for the community. We're doing something for marginalised parts of the community. It's fantastic. It's a brilliant idea. Brilliantly executed, despite my reservations about the actual jersey itself. And listen, we all saw the reaction. We all saw what happened. And the very fact that that's the reaction. And listen, we talk about bots and we talk about fucking American accounts and everything else. There was a few Cork City ones in there. And it's beyond disappointing to see it. Well, listen, that's the world we live in. But the very fact that there was people who described themselves as Cork City fans retweeting stuff, putting in their own opinions, shows that it's a worthwhile venture.
Yeah,
because as long as they're there, then the venture is needed. So the irony of them proving that the club is correct in what it's doing is not lost on me anyway,
Yeah, back in 2019, Dick, we did similar. I actually remember it. We put with the players' numbers on the back of their jerseys were in the rainbow colours, and then we auctioned all the jerseys on eBay, I think it was, and
that's right,
donated to the Cork Pride committee for fundraising activities and stuff like that. I knew a few of the folks on the committee. One of them worked with me and stuff like that, so all good. And again, same thing. And you're talking, this was 7 years ago, and I remember back then when we put those out, it was the same far right wing bots, just like posting nonsense, which is just it's ridiculous, really. And it's great cause and well done to the club. I'll echo your sentiment on the jersey. When I saw it first, it was launched with, I think, a video that Stevie G was recording. I think he was down to Marina Market doing a DJ session, and he was using his blurry selfie camera. Stevie, I don't know, are you using like an iPhone 5 or something these days or what, but it was blurry and literally looked like a black t-shirt with the club's logos on it in the Pride colours.
Yeah.
And then someone posted that on Twitter, so I don't think that went down as well as maybe it was intending to, just from a looks of the jersey perspective. And then, the professional shots then as well, I don't know what happened, like, you can't really make out the detail in the jersey, but then I've seen the jersey in the flesh and it has these nice kind of etched in designs going through it, and it's a kind of a snazzy plain black shirt, I would say, with and there's a little detail of the Pride flag on the sleeve as well, very subtle but nice. And I do think the logos maybe were a little overdone, but like the Zeus logo, the Rebel Army logo and the club crest all in the Pride colours, I don't know, as it could have been done differently. But look, I think the message was sent loud and clear anyway. I'm purely giving feedback on the style of it, of the jersey. Well done venture. And
I should have added a minimum of 5,000 from the jersey sales are going directly to belong to youth services in the city. Wayne Gockwayne, lastly, I'll come to you here. What you make of it?
I was very proud of my club last week doing that. I do think the jersey, I would have liked to have seen the Belong To group as the sponsor. I think it could have been nice, and he could have put Zeus on the back of the neck or on the sleeve. I think it would have gone on better. And I think if you just left that white and I did maybe the crest Pride colours, I just think that they could have executed a little bit better. But I think it's brilliant because I don't know any clubs around the world who've done this. Have any done that?
I feel like I've seen some, but I could be wrong. I could be
I think
wrong.
it's amazing and fair play to the club. Like, and as usual, the usual.
It's bold.
Twats
Like maybe
online coming at the club then, like, and it's just, as Decky says, it makes it worthwhile doing it.
Maybe that was the approach when, like, I know what you're saying. I agree with you. Like, I think the front is just a bit too much. Like, I think I said, like, did the club even ask Zeus about this, maybe, or was it an option?
They should have used to belong to. That's a sponsor.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, I can't imagine Zeus pushing back too heavily on that.
Because people would have asked what is belong to, like.
Yeah,
and
look, we're in the first division.
They leave the jersey and the Rebel Army logo, and the sleeve is lovely, the little rainbow. On the sleeve. So look, lovely idea. You can't criticize it too much, but it's just little things I would have changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and think they were just going for maximum impact, as
absolutely.
in, like, there is no doubt at all what that jersey represents and is all about. Like, so you know what, Wayne? Maybe that's it, really. Artistically speaking, maybe a bit of different execution.
Right.
Well done on the $5,000 as well. Fair play to the club.
Time to move on to the games. They've been covered a fair bit already. We're 50-something minutes in. All right, yeah. No. I don't even know where
it's gone out the window with this one.
Wayne, I think you had some thoughts on McGlade shushing the corner boys, the imaginary corner boys.
Like a complete innocent. I'm glad now I'm here for this because a complete innocent tweet, right? Because McGlade, right? Okay. Played for Cork City, scores the winner, runs over to the corner to celebrate. Perfect. I can't stand players who don't celebrate in front of the Rex fans, right? But the thing is, he ran to the corner, and you look at, there's no corner boys there. And I was like, oh, he's acting a Billy Big Bollocks. Fair play to him. And then someone else, which I assumed they're related, comes at me on Twitter, called me a tosser or something, and I was like, what are you talking about? It's fully entitled to do what he wants to do, but we're rival fans, and we're entitled to have a pop. He ran over to the corner to give him shit, and they weren't there. And he comes at me, and I'm like, "What are you doing? What's the problem here?" Like,
well, you're talking to his fucking best friend in the pod here, like, so.
I'll just jump in on this one,
do you see my point? And you're going to try to take the piss from me here now. My point
I'm
was,
not. Absolutely not.
McGlade should celebrate. He should have ran in front of the shed and fucking pulled his pants down and had a bit of a crack in front of the shed. Of course he should. But to come at me then saying, "Oh, you tossed him," like, fucking grow up, man. Do you know what I mean?
No. I will say, from what I could hear, like, the shed did boo loudly as soon as they saw Dylan picking up the ball.
Fully entitled to.
Yeah, they are, of course. And look, obviously he's a former player and whatever, and for some reason, he seems to, like, draw the ire of a bunch of Cork City fans for reasons I really don't understand. But anyway,
what do you think on that?
Just ask one quick question before you go to Decky, right? Do you think that his celebration was very respectful of the club he loves?
Yeah, so what he did, this is my analysis. I borrowed Dom's trundle wheel from last week, actually, because when I saw your tweet, Wayne, I said, you know what, I'm going to just investigate this as a purely impartial person for Dylan McGlade versus Wayne Mullins here. He took the penalty from the 12-yard spot, obviously, and his momentum carried him forward. I checked it with my trundle wheel, 1.5 yards. He then ran purely from a perpendicular direction. It was an almost perfect 90-degree run from Dylan for his celebration. He actually did not motion towards the corner at all. He ran perpendicularly. He ran towards, and I saw this in the footage, there's a cameraman right there in the Derrynan Road, which I'm sure Dylan, because he was I'll speak back from history, he has an amazing attention to detail, the fella that does have, in fairness to him. I've no doubt he spotted the cameraman before he took the penalty. So he darted over to the cameraman. Then he was pointing to himself. He wasn't shushing. There was a Cove player behind him, photographed as shushing. So maybe he was shushing someone in the Derrynan or whatever like that. But
I'll fucking shush you now if you don't come on.
That was my full analysis of the incident.
You know what, Dylan, I think
Carl, my good buddy Carl, was spot on with his reply to you as well, by the way, just as a fully
he was
impartial.
Respectfully celebrating. That's fine. As I said, McGlade should never have to respectfully celebrate in front of Cork City. He should get the socks every time.
Just on the shed booing him and stuff, I don't think necessarily they were booing him. And I said this a couple of weeks ago, if you've got a penalty, if you're defending a penalty, you make as much noise as possible to put them off. So it doesn't matter who it is, you'd want there to be that much booing and that much noise and jeering and everything.
Oh yeah, like
hang on a second. I need to find this. I need to check this.
Can I talk about what happened after Dylan perpendicularly ran to a cameraman having scored a corner or what thing? We spent 15 minutes just lumping the ball into the fucking air. You know? We put it short of the box, wide of the box, over the box. We did fucking everything with it except put a ball into the fucking box. Like, just absolute claptrap from us. Like, I mean, horrific stuff, like. Get it wide. Murray had the beating of the full back, as I said. Just get the ball wide. Put the ball in from decent angles where you can be attacked. Where you can the Alamo. We had, I think, I'm correct in saying we had one corner in that 15 minutes. Where it should be a sustained period of balls going in the box from good angles. You're either scoring or you win 3 or 4 corners minimum from them clearing balls and knocking them out. It was so easy. Gary Buckley and Griffin just stood on the edge of the 18-yard box and fucking headed everything away. It was a holiday for them. Never got down the sides of them, never got in behind them. We should have had a penalty. Okay, we should have had a penalty. Shawnee was turned upside down by Shane Griffin, I think, wasn't it? Stonewall penalty. Not sure the one they were given was a penalty, but for me, the one in Reece Brennan prior to that was another Stonewall penalty. So, look, Oliver Moore, terrible referee, always wants to be the centre of attention.
Yeah.
Does something fucking stupid, you know. Nothing surprising there either. But, like, our response to going behind, catastrophic. Absolutely fucking rubbish. Rubbish. I can't say it enough. I'll say it once more. Fucking rubbish. Like, rubbish. Like,
can I ask a question? Do you, if we lose on Friday, do you sack Robson?
No. Because, like you can't keep sacking managers. You can't have managers that are sacked and walked away. But, like, we were told by Stranraer supporters and that this was going to be muck football, and we kind of ignored it because he was a name and he was this and that. And, like, he hasn't done a good job. He has not done a good job. And now he's starting to talk about having a light squad. And I expect to hear more about the light squad in the next couple of weeks.
It is true, though, to be fair.
It's true.
This is what I'm saying. July is you sack him or you keep him. July, you have to back him in July.
Well, it's light because he won't use the young fellas. And it's light because he only brought in one player. We have to assume, listen, I'm not blaming him for that because we don't know what the arrangements were, etc. But the club only signed one player in the off-season. And we heard nothing about it for the first 11 weeks. I know we're starting to hear about it, Scott, you know. And we have an issue. We'll get to the UCD game. There's a massive issue with the squad for next Friday night. Massive issue, which we'll get to in a minute.
Just on that about the light squad. Our bench on Friday, we had an average age of 20 years old on the bench. On Monday, it was an average of 19. So it is light. It is weak. And that is completely on the club. But we are able to we've relied on Killian Murphy as our star player, one of our star players this season. Just because they're young doesn't mean they're not able to be given time. So what he needs to be doing is giving young fellas minutes here and there, so that when it comes to now where you've got a game on a Friday and on a Monday and you need to be playing, you need to be rotating, that you'd be able to rely on the young players. Problem is he pissed around at the start of the season by not making substitutions, not giving people any minutes, and you spoke about it perfectly when you said that he's ruined these young players, because they would have been expecting this season, we're in the first division, this is going to be my breakthrough year.
There's a lot of rumours that they're not in it though, or that their attitude is wrong. Some of them know, obviously, but that could be true as well, or maybe they're just not as good as we think they are or want them to be.
But on whether they're not as good, I mean, we saw Matthew Murray was very good last season in the Premier Division. How is he all of a sudden not very good? Now, we don't know. There could be other things, like I said, maybe there's attitude problems or something like that. Maybe it could be something instant. I don't know, maybe he's doing his leaving cert or something this year and he's looking for time off for studying or something like that. I don't know. But we don't know what is going on. It just seems a bit mad that there was so much excitement. Matthew Murray is the one that pisses me off the most, because he really was looking like he was going to break through, and then all of a sudden he's not. Brody Lee's another one. He was in the Under-17s World Cup. and now he's not able to get on against Kerry. Do you know, it's how is it that other managers are seeing things in these players that Barry Robson isn't? He just doesn't give a shit about the young players. He's not here to develop talent, but the complete opposite of what Jornash was brought in to do. But like, the problem is, what is the point in what's the point in playing shit players that aren't going to be any good in the Premier Division next year, when we could be playing these young players who might be able to make a career for themselves in the Premier Division next year?
Does he worry they're not good enough is probably the thing, like, and that as embarrassing as the weekend was, they could be even more shit.
But we don't know, Dan. That's the whole point. None of us know, because we haven't seen them. We haven't, I mean, the squad is light. If this is the time to see whether they're shit or not. Okay, maybe they're showing nothing in training. Maybe, as you said, there's attitude problems around the place. That story's been told about at least one of them. But, like, so what? I saw plenty of fucking attitude problems from the players on the pitch in Kerry. I saw plenty of attitude problems from the players on the pitch against Cove. Do you know? Sometimes a fella needs a kick in the hole, and then he needs to be given a chance. Do you know what I mean? And where the squad size doesn't allow us to pick and choose, and as Dom said, games away in Wexford when we're 4-1 up, like Brodie Lee has 15 minutes all season. That was away in Wexford. That's his only 15 minutes of the season in the first team. Now, I've no idea whether Brodie's any good or not, but neither is any other City fan. Like, Scotty couldn't tell you whether he's any good. Deck couldn't tell you whether he's any good, because we haven't seen him. We've no idea. And maybe the coaching staff said, well, we see him every day in training and we think X, Y, and Z.
But I probably could tell you, Deck, that Matty Kiernan and Matt Murray are good.
Yeah.
Do you know what that's all? I think that's largely all of our opinions. Is that fair to say? Like, that they're good enough? I think they're
definitely good enough to see minutes in the first division.
Yeah, and, that's what I mean. Like, yeah.
But as I said earlier, I don't think, and Scotty's been on this since the word go, he's not a guy who sees himself being here long term, so there's no need for him to develop young players. He's in win-no mode, and managers who are in win-no mode are always going with more experienced, older players. They won't let me down, they'll do the job, blah-de-blah, blah-de-blah. I can't risk it putting a young fella in there now for 20 minutes.
Do you think that's a stark difference from Clancy, actually, now looking back to his first season?
It's a huge difference from Clancy, yeah.
Clancy was like all about...
He can't not play Cian Murphy. Like, Cian Murphy is fed into his lap. Like, sorry, Killian, sorry. I'm still traumatized by Cian hitting the inside of the post the other day. But, you know, like, no, I just think it's...
I don't know you can say he fell into his lap, because he did play him. He didn't have to start him, but he did. You know, like, you can't say it fell in his lap.
But see what happened when he did play him, Scott.
I get that. Like, but he still did play him. That's the thing.
Could the same happen for Matt Murray?
Was the first game
happen? No, I understand. But the second game, I think. Cian Murphy, he got 37 minutes at home against Treaty, and he started more or less ever since. He came on away at Finn Harps, but that was after the internationals. He was away.
There was pre-season as well, and Cillian Murphy did play every game in pre-season almost, but so did Brodie Lee. And so did Matthew Murray. And Matthew Murray and Brodie Lee were the two standout players in pre-season for me. I just find it weird that he's all of a sudden... yeah, there's that too. But I just find it weird that all of a sudden he's turned against them.
Wayne, what was your mood yesterday, Monday evening, after...
I was going to turn the match off halfway through, to be honest with you. It ruined my weekend again, as it always does. And work today, everyone taking the piss. It was great fun. And trains tonight, more taking the piss. It's just like, it's horrendous. And I'm sick of it. These lads are getting paid a lot of money to play football. And I think it was actually, I got to bring up Carl McGlade. He said something like, I can't fucking hit a barn door or something, which is true. But these lads are getting paid to hit those barn doors. And they're not doing it. And it's shocking. Like, it's embarrassing. It's shameful stuff, the way we performed against both teams, Cove and Kerry.
I love that one as well. You don't know whether a ball is stuffed or pumped. It's not my job to know whether a ball is stuffed or pumped.
This is the thing. About football fans, you know football, right? And certain players have better
lads, we're giving this lad way too much airtime, by the way.
Yeah.
No, but in fairness, he has a point as well. He has a point, but I think he went a bit too far, in my opinion. I wasn't actually having a dig at McGlade. I was having a bit of a joke. But I think, you were having snowflakes a little bit. What?
You were having a dig.
He hurt your feelings.
Can I just make a point as well, though, while we're talking about the matches? The attendance on Friday was fantastic. Kid for a Quid absolutely worked. We got nearly 5,000 people in the door. That's 5,000 people, a lot of which will never be back in Turner's Cross. So and it's we spoke about this when they did the Fiver entry last month, that you bring people, you charge low prices, that gets people in the door. You give them put on a good show for them, that's what keeps them there. The amount of kids who will have come in there and had no interest in the match, because who could have had any interest in the match? It was shite. They'll never be back.
Whose fault is that, though, Dom? It's not us.
Whose fault?
It's not
well, it is partly.
It's the fault of the players.
It's not. No. It's not us just fault. The club planned the thing. They got four
got the crowd in the door. In fairness,
players and managers. Player and manager.
Yeah, but who put the players in there?
Managers.
The transfer committee.
Oh, I get that too. But what I'm saying is that specific match, you can't. The same reason the 4-2 win against Kerry, you can't say, "Oh, well done, Usher." It's not his fault. Yeah. You can't blame him for on the field stuff like that. Transfer budgets and stuff you can, but for single games, I don't think you can. But for game after game after game, yes, you can blame him.
Now the Kerry game I didn't see because I was in Cove, but in general, yes, definitely there's a serious problem with the performance that was put out in the players. Now, just to play devil's advocate, there could you argue that they've been playing so many minutes that they're going to burn out eventually?
Fuck off. No, stop. Come here now. We're the fucking pro. Don't I was very calm coming on here, and I swear you fucking talked to each other beforehand or something just to get me going. But
it's all Dom. It's Dom winding up. He said you can't blame the players, and then he's saying no, they're fatigued.
We're the pro team, right? Like today, fucking day after a game, out in Bishopstown, they'll have a recovery session. They'll have ice baths. They'll have somebody to give their sore legs a rub. They might do a little bit with a football just to get the, what do they call the thing? Flowing again. I was going to say juices, but actually there's some particular name that gets
the lactic acid.
Lactic acid. Go man, Dick. I nearly said creatine.
I've seen enough of this nonsense. Actually, in person, creatine is a supplement that helps lactic acid.
So lactic acids get that flowing again. They'll do video analysis of what went wrong in the two games. 95% of the rest of the league are in fucking work this morning with a pain down the back of their fucking legs, or their fucking hamstrings sore, or their knee is dodgy and they can't make it to the canteen without fucking hobbling down 3 flights of stairs. You're not comparing apples with apples here, Dominic. This is the whole thing. We're the pro outfit. We're the pro setup. Now, Kerry are a pro setup by all accounts, but fuck them, I don't care about Kerry. I'm only talking about Cork City. You can't, we've played too many minutes. Oh, sure, look, God love them. Poor old Dara there. I'm up to the time of the Bray game now. Dara had played 958 minutes, which is the most anybody could play, 100% the minutes. It was only himself and Bran have done that. They both have still done it to this day. Feely, 95% of minutes, but he's missed the last 3 games, so that won't be the case now. Fiacre Kelleher, 84, he missed the game. Your Murrays, your Kiernans, your Lees, your Bridges, your Nevins, O'Keefe, 6 minutes before the Bray game, so probably 6 minutes up to Kerry. That's when you use you use the squad. The squad is you're not using what you have. We're the profit. We should be able to go out and be 2 up. Now, I know this is arrogance now again. We should be able to go out and 2 up and give Brodie Lee half an hour at the end of the game and take somebody off. You gave Niall O'Keefe 6 minutes all season, and then you dropped him in yesterday in Kerry. That's not good management. Do you know what I mean? You're worried about Bulger's legs? Stick him in and out. Stick Niall O'Keefe. Niall O'Keefe did fine yesterday. He did fine. Even when he went right back, he was no attacking threat. But Kerry weren't going to get in down that side. It was just fucking stupid management. And here we are, like, just talking shit. That's all we're doing on this podcast is talking shit non-stop because we're watching shit. And when you watch shit, you talk shit, right? And, like, that's the only way I can sum it up. And there was, you're not fit to wear the shirt chance yesterday, and I've done this twice already. Like, give me any one of those women who play for nothing. All they do is play for pride and respect in the jersey. What happened in Kerry yesterday and what happened against Cove on Friday night, to me, I don't know who those players were playing for. They weren't playing for the jersey. They weren't playing for the crest. They weren't playing for their manager. Were they playing for themselves, playing for their families? Well, I would argue that most of them are out of contract next year. And they're not doing it enough to earn a contract here next year. So, playing for themselves? Not really. Because you're going to be out of contract next year and you won't be getting a big money offer at Cork City. And most importantly of all, they were not playing for the fans. They were not playing for those who turn up week in, week out. Those that fucking jersey and that crest means everything in the world to. And those lads went down, they sauntered around Mount Hawk Park yesterday. Even when they went one down, we'll be grand. We're Cork City. We'll fucking score here. Colin Healy said it to the press afterwards. It's clearly obvious my players wanted it more than Cork City players wanted it. That's a shameful reflection on Cork City's fucking players. Shameful. And again, they'll all, he said this in the pod and he said that on the pod. Maybe, just maybe, think about what's being said, why it's being said, and fucking acknowledge that it's actually correct. That was shameful stuff over 2 games over the weekend. There's no other word. And people are fucking done with it. They're pissed with it. You know? If we had our way, if I had my way personally, I'd take Shawnee back into the Premier Division next year. And Killian Murphy. Everybody else, sayonara. Do you know?
It's looking that way, isn't it?
Good luck, lads. But it can't happen. It can't happen. We have to take 12 or 14 of them up with us.
I know.
We have to. Do you know? At a minimum. Probably more.
Because we won't sign 20 players, like.
Yeah. So which 12 or 14 is it going to be? Who's going to put up their hands and say, I'm worth a Premier Division contract next year and I can help this club stay in the Premier Division?
Because they're like, if there's any players listening to this, that has to be the mentality. Like, they have to now be in a situation where they're like, right, we're not going to be the Invincibles now. We're not going to be the team that goes unbeaten. We're not going to be the team that gets close to 100 points. We're probably now going to be the team that scrapes by winning this division. So you really have to, as you said, Dick, there, nail on the head. They have to now stand up and be counted and wake up and smell the fucking coffee because, like, Jesus, lads, like, you're second to fucking UCD? UCD?
Dom, last point, Dom.
Problem with that, though, is, and Dick, you've already said it, Barry Robson in his interview, and I thought he gave a decent interview after the Cove game, he said we need to see a reaction now. Where was the fucking reaction? Where was it?
There.
I'm not seeing it.
There was no reaction to Kerry scoring. Look at that Kerry goal. They're setting up for a long Bargery throw and he takes it short. And the ball is put in as a cross. Right? When that ball leaves your man's foot, there's 7 Cork City players in the box. Right? Now, from the time Bargery is lining up to take the throw in, Jonas Hakkinen is standing on his own. Myself, and I was with Tim O'Keefe, we're behind that goal. And we're both reading, fucking Jonas, watch. Like, you could see it. None of them move. None of them react to it. By the time the cross comes in, there's 7 of them in there. The cross takes 6 of them out of the game. 6 of them out of the game because Bargery's thrown the ball short and they've all gone, oh shit, and started running that way. There's 3 of them beyond the front post when the ball comes in and Jonas slips in around the back. Now, Jonas, I'm going to let everybody in on a secret here. The worst first touch you've ever seen because he tries to kill it so he could have his own shot and it bounces off him, but it falls to Niall Brookwell. But there's so many Cork players, City players, out of the game. And if you go back and watch it, and just when the camera comes across and the ball is mid-flight, freeze the frame. There's one Cork City defender and 5 Kerry forwards there. It can fall to any of the 5 of them. It's just Jonas has had a free run in around the back. And Brookwell knocks it in. Now, it's a good finish because he takes a touch, does Charlie Lyons with the touch and puts it in. I can't see who's gone back on the line. But I think, personally, Fiacre Kelleher also has an opportunity to get back on the line. But he's just kind of standing there, doesn't know. He makes an effort to go and then he stops and then oh shit, I should have went. Like, it's just horrendous. It's horrific defending. And it wasn't the first time, because from the first, I think it was their first corner, Niall O'Keefe picked up Brookwell at a fucking corner. The difference in size was, it was, I don't know, I'm terrible at estimate, but Niall Brookwell's at least 3 times the size of Niall O'Keefe. Do you know what I mean? You know?
Damn near pissed himself.
You know? He's way taller than him. And Brookwell got a good run on Niall, and he got there, and he just missed the flick. But it was there, and they were causing us issues, and they caused us issues that they should have won the game 4-0.
Oh, yeah.
They should have won the game 4-0.
The referee was trying to keep us in it as well.
As I said, Keller.
Look, we had and people will talk about, Sean, he hit the post at the end or whatever.
Bollocks.
They fucking hit the post.
Ah, yeah. Like, you know, all could have been 1-1.
Start next week, by the way.
All right.
Just one other thing, Dan. Sorry, just one other thing. Just the Bargary sending off. Just quickly on that. Your man, the goalkeeper, Matt Connor, went down injured in inverted commas, right? And the referee came over to him and said to him, "You go down again, I'm going to book you." So he had to call on the physio and whatnot. But the referee said something like, "You go down again, I'll book you." Like, he knows he's acting the bollocks, like. But that's in the referee's head from that moment on, and it's only about 5 minutes later that he does Bargary for the delaying the throw-in.
But that's good refereeing.
Yeah, but Don, what I'm going to say is, ironically enough, Matt Connor acting the bollocks gets Cian Bargary sent off, in my opinion. That's the way I saw it. One leads to the other.
Tim saw that and he whispered it to you, Dick, for God's sake. You were standing next to the wizard himself.
Dom, is it fucking important? Like,
yes. There was a lot of discussion today about whether we should try to go up at all, whether we'd be better off staying in the first division. What do you think of that?
No.
Jesus, Tom, we're another fucking half an hour.
There's 5 of you,
well
too
done.
many. I'm going to shoot off, lads, and let you finish with 4 of you.
All right,
5 too many.
Cheers, man.
See you, lads.
Bye, Wayne.
Brand needs to be dropped. See you.
I'm not doing this now. I made a suggestion on the forum. It was open for discussion, non-emotional discussion. We could do an hour and a half podcast on it itself. So,
all right, we'll go to the mailbag. All right, we'll go. Normally, we were lacking questions there the past few weeks. We had 5 or 6. There's 25.
You need to do an ad. You need to do an ad.
There's an ad,
yeah, I know. I was going for the fucking ad, so I was just giving the teaser for the break. Like,
sorry.
He's the host, Decky. Come on, let him do his job.
Apologies.
We'll go now, if that's okay with the lads, to the ad break, and we'll be back now with the mailbag.
Hey there, Toad Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mercado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/ToeTap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.
Welcome back to part 2 Toad Tapper. It is now time for your mailbag.
I love that jingle.
Postman pattern in black and white cat.
Tony, I feel like the comedic timing of the mailbag is just getting worse and worse. Tony Tobin says, just in case anyone thinks that this is rock bottom, trust me, this is going to get even worse in the coming weeks/months, City Till I Die and beyond. Billy Darney sends in a gif of a wooden head banging his head off a brick. Cork City FC since Dermot's arrival. CCFC man quote tweets himself and says Cork City FC are a mental health crisis. Billy Darney says, I don't just blame Usher, I blame us, the fan base. We're fucking sheep. High time a proper fans protest took place. Rebel Cork my hole. Bunch of fannies. If this was happening at Rovers, he'd be fucking ran out long ago. Is there a question there? I think it was more of a statement. Richie, the fact automatic promotion might not actually happen tells you how bad it is. Fans have to stand up to Usher. Joe Langford, just when you think it's safe to trust in Cork City, we lose to both of our local rivals either side of the bank holiday weekend with truly lifeless performances, and UCD are top of the table. Back to square one. Dom, are we back to square one?
I would say we're behind square one. I'd say we're square -1.
Good answer. Anthony Falvey, let's get one thing straight. This was no smash and grab or freak result. Any football played tonight was played by Kearney. Oh, this is the fucking, this isn't even the mailbag, lads. This is just the fucking post-match reviews.
Oh, no.
Ian Crowley, we'll fucking go for it anyway. A total lack of creativity. That about sums up things on and off the field. Garrett, not an advisor, Barry. At least we have toilet paper to wipe our lovely bottoms at the motherfucking asshole stadium at Turner's Cross. Philly Crowley, if we go back up, next season will be much worse than last year. 2 losses in 3 days in the first division is inexcusable for a full-time side. Unless things change, we'll scrape out of this league and be a laughing stock next season. Go to the last one or two maybe. Garrett, not an advisor. Barry, pitch invasion or everyone refuses to enter the ground and have a peaceful protest across the road from the cross. It's time all his yes men are ran out of the club as well. Yeah, a lot there. Professionals, all downhill since that shirt was released. If Anthony Falvey, if Niall O'Keefe can play LOI, then there's hope for us all. The most Munster senior league player I've ever seen in my life. We will get to your questions. I'm sorry, lads, to let you down. First one here. Question for Wayne. He says, Cork Camogie. Only joking. It'll have been covered, I assume, in the start of the pod, but maybe those losses are a blessing in disguise by showing the general public that we're not the reincarnation of the Arsenal Invincibles. The onus should be on the July transfer window. On a scale of 1 to Yara to fuck that, how much will we balls up the July window? Kerry.
Oh, it's hard. Look, evidence shows in the last few years it'll be Yara to fuck that. Like we'll balls it up.
Well, I think it was Yara to fuck that was the scale,
right?
So,
Yara to fuck that. Yeah. Look, I give it some semblance of hope with Kearney there, maybe a little bit better than previous windows. But again, if we're still messing around with this transfer committee nonsense and Delaney is hanging around and all this, then it's doomed. But if it's Liam and Robson and that's it really, then who knows?
The second
can I just point out very quickly, Dan? And I said again, the summer window is a window for players coming home from England or coming home from the UK. That's that window. The League of Ireland window is the winter window. So can we find players coming home from England? Hopefully, but or are we scouting them? How do we know about them? All that stuff, I think it's a bit of a lottery. times.
Sean O'Mahony, I think this point warrants some serious discussion. There seems to be a trend across the last few managers consistently of reverting to a brand of hoofball after a certain number of games. Are the players we acquire or produce in the academy simply incapable of taking on tactical instruction bar launch it up the pitch? This seems to be constant across the last few years, and we never seem to attempt to build an identity regardless of how much time a manager has to work with the team. It happened with Healy, Clancy, Nash, now Robson. Is this what the UEFA Pro license teaches them? Dom, I think you have some sort of a license. You might be in the best position there to answer.
A driving license.
Yeah, well,
should have been taken off one of the other fucking managers.
Former managers.
Ironically, one thing to be fair, I've seen managers and teams try kind of possession-based football, and it isn't often appreciated by the fans. I've often seen teams trying to build it out from the Cork City teams over the last few years trying to build it out from the back, and shouts from the Donny forward to just fucking launch it and stuff. I get both sides of the argument. If you're playing possession style football, you need to do it properly, but we can't do that properly. We just pass it back and forth along the back line. It's meant to be with purpose. It's meant to be about building forwards. With launching a forward, there's a time and a place for launching a forward. And ironically, whenever we need to start doing that, we don't actually do it. Sometimes there's a lot of times you're like, just send the fucking ball forward, and we don't. We try piss assing around with it. But it is worrying that it's been the same thing for the last number of years. It's been the same thing. But why is that happening?
Do we have an answer, or is it just?
I don't know.
Panic, because we've been behind so often in the last few years. In the Premier Division games, we've been behind so often, so we're chasing the game, and it's just Route 1 stuff. I'm not sure Tim Clancy did a whole lot of it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Tim Clancy did try to play out from the back, but it was just a very stagnant. It was possession for the sake of possession, as instead of possession with a goal.
Well, here's the other thing, and the Premier Division as well. The standard isn't great. I see lads talking about Dawson Devoy for Ireland and whatnot, and I piss myself every time I see it. Look, and it's one of the frustrating things, because in theory, if you could, like Dundalk, bring in 5 or 6 half-decent players, you can fly up the Premier Division, not even to mind the First Division. We're producing players that are going to the continent and are going to England and are doing well. Those we're producing for our own team here haven't done great. And I don't mean to be callous or rude or anything but it's kind of obvious that, Cahill's gone to England, Keane will go to England. Those who are left behind aren't world beaters. They're good players, but they're not top performers in this league. And I think that's a certain amount of it. It's like, okay, we don't have players that can play through the lines. We're not producing players with top quality ball playing type players. And eventually a manager 10 or 15 games into a season goes, well, actually, probably can't play the way I want to play, so we end up launching it and hoping Keats can win a header, or hope Shawnee can get a fucking touch on something, or we bypass midfield because there isn't natural players in there. We don't get it wide because the balls in aren't great, etc., etc. So eventually you end up going Route 1, and I think that's what the poster's talking about. That's what he's getting at, is that we're forced into doing these things because the quality of player that we're producing for our own side are not at the required level. God forgive me for saying it. He'd be roasted again, but call a spade a spade.
Billy Darnay, we're at a crossroads, and at a crossroads, one does not simply know which direction we are going to. I genuinely feel we're in a much worse position now than before Dermot's arrival. Roy O'Sullivan says, I remember Cabinteely being my lowest point as a supporter of this club, and I was present for Derek Mountfield. This bank holiday weekend is the new lowest point champion. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Dermot. Anthony Falvey says, is Robson just Caulfield with a Scottish accent? Edward, no post-match interview with Robson. Is he under pressure? Apart from Drine and Worldy against Bray, we would be after losing 3 on the spin. We now have a top-of-the-table clash against a team who will be mostly studying the week, who also are the formed team in Division 1 with 7 clean sheets and top scorers. We can blame the owner and upper management all we want, but the last 3 performances are on the players, and yesterday it was abysmal. A record-breaking weekend. Are we just hoping that July we get new players to get us out of this division? Because it's obvious this team is not good enough for that even, and is there a possibility it gets worse? Dom, is there a possibility it gets worse?
It can.
It definitely has the potential. I mean, you start with a loss. When we were on a streak of not losing, you had some bit of momentum. Now that we've seen that, how are these players going to deal with the adversity of it? Are they going to completely crumble?
That's the thing, Dom. Like, do you know, we were even just trying to create some jeopardy for this season, in the sense of, like, try and go the whole season unbeaten.
The other teams are too shit for us to completely crumble, I would say.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd say we've already crumbled. Like, what happened this weekend was nothing short of crumbling. It was nothing.
And the week before, like,
and that was lack of caring or effort, surely. Tommy Kearney, after the shit show that was the weekend, could I ask about the only positive thing to happen to this club in a long time? That's the appointment of Liam Kearney as DOF. Is he related, maybe? Look, we'll leave it off. I think we got through all that. Richie, lads, I can't even be bothered trying to come up with the comical question about breakfast or with trying to make a reference to the Ark getting relegated. Do you genuinely 100% still believe we go back up? I could see UCD winning Friday and we are in the shit.
I can see them winning Friday. Thanks, Richie, as well for the, you know, it sounds like you've retired the relegation joke, so fair play. But I think
he relegated them.
Yeah, he relegated them. Jesus. But I think we can. I think we're more than capable of losing on Friday. As you said, goal of the season from Drine, and we lose to Bray. We lost at home to Cove. And then we didn't, in front of 4,700 people, when you would think the players should go out there and say, Jesus, let's play for all these people now and give them something to cheer about and come back again. Then we didn't react against Kerry on Monday, and Collins lads were more up for it. There was a bit of needle in it for them, I think, after a bit of afters after the game when they were in the Cross a few weeks ago. And we couldn't put up the fight, and Kerry beat us 1-0 and should have beat us by more. UCD have scored more goals than us, and they have more points than us. And do they have more clean sheets, Deck, or less goals conceded?
They have less goals conceded. I don't know clean sheets.
Yeah, so, like, statistics show we're not the favourites going into Friday. We're not the form team. UCD have had a little run now to put them top of the table. So we were more than capable of losing. There's huge pressure on the players here now to win this game. Like, a home game against UCD in the First Division. Who would have thunk it?
We said a long time ago this season that if we lose Shani Maguire, Rory Feely, Killian Murphy, Greg Bolger, there's no guarantee. We'd be struggling. We'd be lucky to go up. I mean, it just has to be. We've lost Feely the last 3 games. 3 games, we've gotten 1 point. That's... I said it a long time ago that we need him so badly. But it just goes to show how fragile we are. Shawnee, if he goes, we're in trouble. But then the other side of things, today marks 1 month since Shawnee last scored a goal for us. So,
I was just going to say, the Feely point is well made and whatnot, but that's not my concern. We conceded 1 against Kerry, 1 against Cove, 1 against Bray. It's not like they got 2 or 3. It's the other end of the pitch for me is the biggest issue, you know. We have a number of chances early against Cove. And informed Keats takes 1, if not 2 of them. Shawnee chips the keeper. Gary Buckley does well to get back, clears it off the line. And he'd always go in early. It's a different game against Cove. But they didn't. And that's the reality of the situation. And, you know, they didn't go in, and we just turned into this fucking Joe Royle coached Everton from 93, 94. The only difference was there wasn't a Duncan Ferguson up there to win the fucking headers. And that's what it was. It was just this long punt forward. Fiacre Kelleher went up top against Cove, committed one foul, and another one where he had centre half in a headlock. And the referee went over the two and just said, give it over. He should have given a free out there as well. Like, it's banana stuff, absolute banana stuff. And, like, we talk about getting away with it. We got away with it in the UCD away game as well. Killian scored, 1-0. They were in that game all night, and they won't be afraid of us because they'll just go. Everybody is like, there's a blueprint there now how to play against us, and the manager will come out and piss and moan about low blocks and teams playing differently to us how they played against everybody else. There's a blueprint there on how to do us, and teams are figuring it out. And we now need to counter. This is a game of chess. We need to find some counter action that allows us to open up these low blocks and whatnot, because otherwise we're absolutely wasting our time. As Dom says, if Seanie Maguire goes down to an injury, good night and God bless.
Sean O'Sullivan also follows it up with the same. Is there a chance we don't go up? Kieran Johnson, there's teenagers now across the country who only know Cork City as a yo-yo club. They look at us the way we used to look at UCD, who are currently ahead of us in the table. This is Dermot Usher's legacy. Going to the Twitter questions. Billy Dorney, majority consensus, please go Dermot, you're bad for the club, totally disconnected from our fan base, and you just don't get it how much this is hurting us all who love CCFC. You'll never fully understand how Cork people love their sports. You'd have to be born here. #Corkness. Connor K. Among everything that happened the past week, I can't ignore the horrific replies to the New Jersey and the abuse given to those who openly supported it. Very disappointing to see some City fans responded the way they did. City CJ, protests have to start again. Simple message, sell up and get out. I'm being so serious. These next 6 months will determine our future for the next 10 years or more. He's got to go, and the rest of them on the board have to go as well. Incompetence personified. Decky.
There is no board.
Graham Linan, every first half off the top of my head has been shambolic. Whatever about the ability or lack of it, this team does not work hard enough. Dermot the Bluffer Usher says a serious conversation needs to be had about Robson, Usher included. He's Jornash 2.0 with a mix of 2019 John Caulfield hoofball, who've been shite all season, so it's not surprising we were warned and he wouldn't play good football. But this is shocking. Dom, for you, does the serious conversation need to happen?
I think it's early yet, but I do like the idea that we have high standards. Losing isn't acceptable. If you were to be moved on or something, then you could say, right, this is the standard that we're setting. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that needs to be the case either. There's been a couple of references. There's two connections between Barry Robson and John Caulfield. I would say the difference is John Caulfield won things with us. John Caulfield was successful. I mean, even if we win every game for the rest of the season now, we finish up with 99 points, it's still a shit season. We've wasted a year of our lives. We've wasted a year of this club. There's no good can come out of this season unless we go on and win the FA Cup. Other than that, it's been a waste of a year.
DB says, whoever scouted Kelleher must have been a drug-induced decision. Anthony Falvey, like it or not, the chanting Kerry was factually correct. Most of those players are just not good enough to wear a City shirt. As for Robson, kick it up there is not a tactic in 2026. Rubbish. Sean Kelleher says, found this in Kearney during the week. Safe to say the attempt at colonisation didn't work, and it's a photo of the lovely balls to the win sticker. Trevor McCarthy, pathetic performance in both bank holiday games, really highlights the shortcomings of the squad and Robson's approach to lumping long balls and hoping for the best is dire stuff. Will the summer window add quality to the squad? A CM or two is badly needed, as well as a CB or two. Kerry, very quickly, where do we need to strengthen up most?
Oh, Lord, Dan.
Give me one position, just one position.
I'd go centre mid, I think. I think relying on a 17-year-old is like way too risky. And I find Shawnee seems to go in and out of games a lot because he has to come so deep into those kind of advanced midfield positions. He's back near the halfway line way too often, and there's a clear reason for that. We need a ball player controller there that, you know, has legs and can contribute. Other than that, look, yeah, everyone. We need every position. Like,
Ian
as
Crowley
Becky said earlier, Shawnee's the only one you would keep and replace the rest.
Ian says, we seem to be in a cycle of the same shit performances, the same atrocious boardroom decisions, and the same complaining from fans for the past 3 or 4 years. What, in your opinion, is an effective way of forcing change? Decky.
Effective way of forcing change. Oh, man.
He knows what he's doing there anyway.
It will never happen, but boycotting is always...
Yeah,
the most
full-on
effective
boycott
way
of all games.
is always
Yeah.
the most effective way, and I'm using the word effective. That's never happening, and I'm not calling for it just before anybody loses their shit. It's hard to force change. Like, you know, there has to be an element that somebody wants to go, and yeah, I just don't see it. But answer the question, and boycott's always the most effective way. There's no money coming in. Somebody has to pay it, and they don't want to do it. They don't like that.
The Rebel WAC. This podcast is going to be top tier. 100 points and goals, he said. How are our fans still so deluded? We will be Division 1 next year, without a doubt. Dom.
This podcast is always top tier. On the 100 points and goals thing, I mean, yes, we needed some bit of excitement, but the club have taken that away from us now. We've nothing to hope for. Will we be Division 1 next year? I don't know. Does he mean we won't get promoted, or that we'll get relegated once we get promoted? I don't think we're going to not get promoted. Like, I think no matter how bad it is, even though we're second at the moment, UCD are looking good, we'll find a way. We're going to win the league regardless, but it's not something that can be celebrated either. And the other thing, if we do go up, absolutely we'll be coming back down next year. Then the question is, what strategy do we take? Do we try and repeat the same thing over and over again of half-ass it to do just enough to get back to the Premier Division, or do we take a couple of years to build from an under-20s team, or maybe even the under-17s, make the under-17s team your first team and build them, so when they're old enough to be there, do we have a serious team ready to go to the Premier Division? But yeah, I don't know.
Right, Kerry, quick, you're in.
No, I just on that point there, Dan, you touched on it a little bit there, the deluded thing about the 100 plus points, and I saw a bit of comments as well during the week about us. Oh, ye backed Robson, I'm sure you've egg on your faces now, kind of thing as well. Like that's like, come on, like, yeah, fair enough, lads. I'm sure we could all admit, some episodes of this podcast are hard to do, especially after like a dreary weekend, 2 games where there's nothing at all to be cheering about or happy about. And then we have to come on here on a Tuesday and talk about it and whatever. And it brings up all the frustrations again and the anger and all of that. And we're just trying to in some sense as well, you have to remember, we are all Cork City fans here. We're trying to encourage the players too. Let's set I hope the players are equally setting a goal to reach 100 points and all this kind of stuff. And we're trying to, get behind them and support them. And Barry Robson comes in then. He's a manager from outside the league. He's a fresh face. We're willing to give him a chance. Wayne, G's him up a bit because he's from the continent and all that. Jesus, we're only trying to get some bit of enjoyment out of it and make it some bit exciting for this absolute horrific season in the first division.
Right, Garrett, not an advisor, Barry. Can we get a petition going and see who actually wants this man at our club, or should I say his club, that he lets us visit every now and then? I think it's time for people like Aina to go as well. Where are all his advisors now? City CJ, I'd like to apologise for thinking AJ Bridge is above average. I'd like to restate he's just as fucking bad as the rest of them. But more importantly, how fucking embarrassing is that our players are losing to part-timers, but then drive home in personalised reg financed cars. Clown emoji. Garrett, not an advisor. Barry, I'm going from Tralee in the shit division of Ireland to London for a Champions League semi-final. What a contrast in 24 hours I've had. Ian Crowley says petition to not have Declan carry on for his McGlade loving. Philly Crowley says first thing, do you actually fucking believe the McGlade thing or what? Like, you really don't, yeah?
Come on, no. Look, there's some bit of an element of wind up because I know for some, but genuinely for some reason, I can't understand it. He draws the ire of a lot of people, and I got on with him like
shit.
Well, he's going to get more now because you've endorsed him.
And I got on with him like a house on fire when I was the chairman, and yeah, he acknowledged his rebel chief. And
two lads who believe during hype, I'd say. That's why.
There's a mutual respect between the two of us, and I'd still be pally with him and all that. It's what it is.
Philly Crowley, first thing you do if you were Liam Kearney in his new role, run. Dicky.
Fucking hell.
First thing you do, I think I'd sit Dermot down and say, your only job is to sign the checks. You know? Basically, go to
was
games
that not
if
done
you
last
want.
Christmas deck with Simon Grayson and
I don't know.
Barry Robson and Guy Branston and
Barry Ryan said when he left that he spoke to Dermot and he had a call with Dermot and Aina. So Dermot was clearly still involved at that stage. Liam is now, like the manager now has to report to Liam if he's reporting anywhere else, or if Dermot's involved in any kind of football decision, then it's a complete waste of time. Like if Liam Kearney wakes tomorrow morning and says, you know what, no, I'm driving to Bishopstown, I'm going to sack Barry Robson. That's Liam Kearney's decision. It can't be Dermot, listen, I want to get rid of Barry Robson, and Dermot says, no, you're not sacking him. No, not happening. Then it's just a waste
I
of
agree with you there, Dick.
Then it's just a waste of everybody's fucking time. Like, he's director of football. He is in charge of football operations.
But there's more to... But I agree with what you're saying in essence, but there's surely more to sacking the men's first team manager, which is like the critical
just
focal point role. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know. I would say that has to be a conversation where the director of football sits down with the chairman or CEO and says, like, we need to make a decision here, like, and it's a kind of a joint up agreed thing, like. But look.
Yeah, but to me, you can't have a director of football who doesn't want a manager.
Yeah,
and
I agree with you.
And an owner then who says, no, he has to stay. Because then you're wasting your time. It's the same with players, and this player has to go, no, I can't. He's under contract, and we're not doing X, Y, and Z.
I know.
Do you know, that to me is how director of football works. Anyway, so the first thing, if I was Liam Kearney, I would be saying, Dermot, just sign the checks. You're no longer involved in football decisions. All football decisions are mine.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Val Maguire, the team need to perform better and wear the jersey with pride.
She's right. They do. 100%.
And they have a brand new jersey they can do that in. Badge, is Robson under pressure? Let's be honest, even when we win most weeks, we're an atrocious watch at times.
He absolutely is under pressure. Absolutely. We're in a terrible run of form, and huge game on Friday night. Huge.
All right. It is now time for SB of the week.
It's time for the SBMBS of the week.
Who's judge here? Is it Dom or Dick?
There's no judge.
Both have the same nomination.
There's just been one nomination and one nomination only. The absolute definition is some bollocks. This week's award goes to Cork City Football Club for its fucking shocking weekend. First ever loss at home to Cove Ramblers. First ever loss to Kerry. Nobody playing for the jersey. Nobody playing for the crest. Manager not heard from. Making shit decisions on the line. Picking the wrong team. Making the wrong substitutions. Fucking everybody. SBs of the week. The whole fucking shebang of them.
And that was SB of the week.
It's time for the SBMBS.
Nearly there. Will we get it over or under 2 hours, lads?
Some
There's,
bollocks. Well, it'll be under
3.5
because
minutes.
No, there's more because there's all the stuff to come out. Like so, I reckon about 10 minutes.
A UCD at home. 10 minutes this Friday. Dom, how are you feeling coming into it?
Well, I went to Coleman's Park to scout out the opposition on Monday. Had a look at UCD, and it was a very typical UCD performance. They kept possession, but they didn't really do much with the possession. It's what you expect from a UCD team. They'll pass it around, they'll bore you to sleep, and they'll come away with more possession than the other team. One, I would say, a player to watch for me that I found very entertaining was Hugh Smith for UCD. He's number 11 because UCD don't have names in the back of the jersey, which is a real pet peeve of mine. If you're a fucking serious football club, you have to have your names in your jersey. But Hugh Smith, very good player. And their goalkeeper, Derek Havana, was also a very good player. Made some very good saves. And he was the same when we played them earlier in the season. He had a very good performance, made a few good saves. The style that I saw from UCD was when they weren't just recycling possession, was to launch it into the corners, play a long ball into the corners for someone to run onto. I don't think that is a problem for Cork City. I think where you can catch us out is quick balls along the ground, in behind the defenders. I think doing something, playing a long ball up like that, it gives us time to set ourselves and to win it back. So I don't think they're going to cause us much trouble with that. And other than that, well, they beat Cove 2-1, and sure, we're half the team the Cove are, so I predict they'll beat us 3-0.
Charlie Lyons is suspended for this, Dan. Rory Feely hasn't played in a month, as Dom said. So who plays centre back next to Fiacre Kelleher? Ike hasn't been on the bench lately. We haven't blooded any centre backs. So here we are now. We're looking at 10 squads. I'm trying to figure it out. There's a part of me that thinks, like, because Niall O'Keefe played the other night, does he start Greg Bulger at centre back? But you can't do that. Like it'd be madness. So for me, it feels like it'll be, you move Harry Nevin inside, and he starts Niall O'Keefe at right back, and Greg comes back into midfield. But you have a back line of Drinan, Kelleher, Nevin, and O'Keefe, and both Nevin and O'Keefe playing out of position, although Nevin, some would argue, is more a centre back than a right back, but he hasn't played at centre back in 2 years now that he's been with us. So, listen, the thinness of the squad is going to come home to roost this week. Obviously, there's a chance, I guess, that Rory Feely's back, but can you stick him in after he misses a month? Just stick him straight into a top of the table clash? I don't know.
Even if he is, will he be sharp enough?
What's happening the other end of the pitch, up top?
Has to be Hans and Shawnee. Having said that, Hans has not been good the last 3 or 4 games. He has not. But neither is Keats.
I thought Keaton was nailed on to get a goal against Cove, though, the way he was going.
But the confidence is gone. It's just the second one, especially against Cove, the Timo Martin saves. I think a fully confident Keats actually knocks it round him. Just takes it, touches it past him, and knocks it into an empty net. But when you're down on confidence and low on confidence, you want to do everything that bit quicker, and I'll get it off. And Martin makes a good save. No, to be fair, but Keats desperately needs something to go in off his goal, anyway at all, just go in. And we were talking in Kerry yesterday, if we were given a penalty, would you risk it? Would you leave Keats take the penalty just to get him going? Would you?
Ooh.
I would.
Personally, I wouldn't. I think it's too much of a risk at this stage.
Oh no, again, in the UCD against UCD Friday, probably no risk.
In any game,
sometime in the future.
If he was to miss it, then you kill him altogether as well. But, yeah. I don't know.
I think just on that, you've got two very different players in Keating and Mpango in, as you were saying about confidence. I mean, Mpango, by all accounts, threw a bit of a strap about being subbed off. So he's clearly, if anything, some could argue overconfident, while Keating's underconfident. So do you go with Keating so that he gets a chance to build up his confidence and knock a bit of the arrogance out of Mpango? I thought Keating had a very good game against Cove.
Yeah, he put the ball in the net as well.
In terms of getting into the right places.
Yeah, he put the ball in the bed. I think it was a Shawnee was offside when he knocked the header down and Keating tucked it away nicely. He was in a great position. Look, it wasn't his fault. But yeah, I think he's
doing all the hard work. But it's that confidence that's getting him. And we all know he's a good enough player. We all know he's a great player. We just need to keep him on the pitch to get a goal, is the way I would look at it.
It's a tough one, yeah. What about I just got the club's email. This one looks AI generated to me, lads. We face UCD on Friday 8th at Turner's Cross. It's set to be a cracking contest and your support can make all the difference. Bring the noise, back the team, and be part of the atmosphere. That's a telltale sign of AI there, the comma.
You're mad for this AI conspiracy.
And then secure your spot and join us this Friday. Like, there's no need at all to secure your spot. Like, there'll be 3,000 MCCs.
Sometimes things can just be badly written, like. But anyway, lads, we're getting way too bogged down in this shit. Attendance-wise, what are we thinking? Jackie, go to you first.
2,417.
Carey.
I'm going to go 2,401. The one is the UCD fan.
There's two of them. There is two of them.
No, they had 20. They had 20 in Cove.
No way.
They had 20. Now, there was one of them with a drum who was making a bit of noise, but the rest... But yeah, there were 20 in total. I counted them. That's how riveting of a game it was. I'd say there'll be 2,237.
Grand. And most importantly, Decky, what's the final result going to be?
1-1.
Carey.
1-0 to UCD.
Dom.
3-0 UCD.
Alright, it'll go 2-1 City. And yeah, we'll see where that ends.
What about after UCD? Deck, did Tim O'Keefe mention to you that he has a hat-trick of away games coming up then after that? Away to Longford, away to Athlone, away to Treaty.
No,
he's on the road a lot.
Didn't. Fair play to him. He's retired now. That's great news. Okay, Dan, you were saying there?
Adios.
Right, okay. Adios.
Come on, lads. We have to keep the Tim O'Keefe counter going. Like, we have a bet going on here.
Adios.
Adios. Adios. Hope you enjoyed the pod. Adios.
Adios.
Será miedo, amigos.
Hey there, Toe Tapper. This podcast is sponsored by NordVPN, and we have a deal of a lifetime. So listen up. Are you still surfing the web with all your personal info hanging out? That's like going to Fountainstown with your Mickey dangling for all to see. But fear not, my digitally exposed friend. NordVPN is here to hide your pecker. With NordVPN, you can cloak your online presence faster than the club counts gate receipts. Say goodbye to those pesky ad trackers and hello to streaming shows from all over the globe. Want to watch a dodgy stream without it buffering? NordVPN might just make it happen. And hackers trying to steal your data? They'll have better luck finding Kimberly Mikado in the tea room. NordVPN's got more layers of security than the VIP section on match day. So what are you waiting for? Get NordVPN today and surf the web with style, security, and a sprinkle of quirkiness. Go to nordvpn.com/toetap for our exclusive deal. It's practically free. You miserable.